Cardano, Stellar Lumen, and Dogecoin. They want to know how those coins will perform next year, like what month and the price, if you see anything. So Cardano is one, Stellar Lumen, and then Doge.
Right. Cardano, that's my number 8th biggest climber for I've written down 8 names and that of ones here that I tuned into while I was waiting to log into you here and tuned into them. And that's my number 8. So I think Cardano is going to be a company. And I do see that one around for quite a few years. So I do see that as being a solid investment, which is really good. So yes.
What month
in particular? What was the other 2?
Stellar Lumen.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lisa.
I was trying to. I thought you were asking what month for Cardano.
Yes.
Right. I just think that's going to be a gradual increase in that. Okay. Is it in the clouds, what I call it at the moment? Has it been much higher than what it is now?
It has dropped a little bit. Right now it's 132. It used to be almost. It used to be $3.
Okay, and now it's going to come back, and it could even be by the end of January. It could be as high as it's been through this year already. So it could end up making that money back. So if it was as high as $3, it will be back by the end of January. It'd be back at level with that highest peak that it's actually had. And then after that, I think that's when it's going to start rolling on and building itself up. I do see that as growth. I don't see any month that it's going to be lower than what it is at this moment in time. So I've just gone through the whole 12 months of 2022, and I see that as still being okay. That's a good one. So that is something that I definitely wouldn't sell me money. I wouldn't sell that one on because I'm going to get growth. I would say its best year is 2023 and 2024. So they've got 2 stunning years to come. So this year, 2022, we're just going to be going through it, and they're going along with the motion of it. And then whatever they do towards the last month, so we're looking at December time of next year of 2022, I think there's some shifts and changes in the company and some great ideas and some things, and it really takes a kick off. And then they've got 2 years of brilliantness. So they've got over the next 5 years, it's been a bit slow, and then it's going to build up, and then it's going to grow. So we've got the biggest they've ever been will be in 2023, and 2024 will equal that, not quite beat it, will equal it. So that's a company to watch out for in the future.
Okay, and then we want to look at XLM, which is also called Stellar Lumen.
Okay, all right. So I like I like the S energy that's actually coming in with that. That's already feeling that it was good. I like the ones at this moment in time that have been struggling over the last few weeks and not doing quite so well. And if that's right, what you're showing on that chart, I assume that's a takedown in that at the end of it. So they must have gone through some difficult times and that. Over the last few weeks. Well, those that have had difficult times now have had time to readjust their energies with their company, and that I think that is still going to be a slow starter. I still think that they've got about another 5 months here before they start coming back in what I call the higher peaks and that. So I think there's going to be a few small ones, but I don't see it rapidly turning around as really big money. So I think they've still got about another 5 months there. So where are we looking at now? I never know what month we are. So we will be looking at basically by May time of next year. I think by May time of next year, it will start be looking a bit sweeter. And then it can look for a couple of months now of just slowly going up. I think May, June and July, you'll see the peaks stay up there. And it will look a lot more, so it won't be this up and down and this craziness, which you can see on that graph at the moment. It starts going up there and then it will stay up there. It will have a couple of little drops, around September time. But until then, you've got a couple of months that you're looking at there, and it's got a nice stability and stableness. And so I think people, again, will just trust it a little bit more. I think the way that it's performing at this moment in time is making you sort of scared of thinking, shall I hang on to it? Because of there's so many peaks and that in around it. So I think that would be better. I don't see it as being absolutely massive turnarounds, but a good stableness, and that for at least 2, possibly going into almost 3 months, and that where you say, well, this is gradually creeping itself up, but only slowly creeping itself up. So you're only looking at $1 or something like that, a little bit more. And the reason that my head is slightly stuttering in that, because the new currency is not called the dollar, because it's called something else. The quantum financial system, because all the coinage and everything is different. They're showing it to me in all these figures and that, and I'm going, well, I don't know what we call that. What do we call that? And so they're not telling me what we call it. I just know it's new names of new currencies and that's coming in. So we won't be talking about it in a few cents or a couple of dollars or rounding it off. You'll be talking about the new currency that it comes in with.
CBDCs,
Yes, and all of that.
So they wanted to ask about Dogecoin really quick. And this one, here's the quick 90-day chart for it. It's another one that's trending down. So that's kind of goes in line with what you were saying, the struggling.
Yeah, I'm going to stick it in my head and go right out with that and say you've still got a long wait on that. I think you're going to have to wait before it really starts bringing itself up. I would be looking at 2023. So even January time in 2023, before you can see that was a solid investment at its time. I think at this moment in time, it's going to stay trending a lot of the time, where it's going to keep dropping down, and you're just going to keep looking at it and thinking, well, do you know something? I think it's better to get rid of it now. But I always say when it's doing this, it's better to just hang on to it. And because we're still in that space of saying, hang on, and don't throw in the towel yet, because next year is so rapid. What would normally take a whole year could be crammed down into 6 months. So all of a sudden the energy can move itself forward really quickly. And then you be thinking, right, I got to wait till the end of the year before anything. Then all of a sudden you could have a freak month in June where all of a sudden it starts really lifting and changing. And it's just where everything has been impacted and everybody's got on board of doing everything really fast. So it's the fast months and the speediness that could shock everybody on that. But at this moment, I would say 2023, before it's really going to see daylight and really see any sort of money coming in with that. So sorry.
I'm going to ask a favor of my favorite coin, and then I'm going to let SL ask a coin that she likes that I don't talk about.
Okay. So fingers crossed it's good then.
Yeah. So this Litecoin is what my mom gave my husband and I Litecoin when I got married in 2017. And so it's kind of a family favorite. I was
going to say that's got to be your heirloom. That's got to be your treasure. And I would see that as being very good. So yeah. I would see this whole year as that's been very, very good. So I think anybody who has Litecoin, and that's going to do well with that.
Curious what you see for 2022 for that.
Okay, right. So let's see. Just bear with me, January, February, March. No, I go forward April, May, June. Yeah. I'm just looking for the flattest month or the worst month and that. And I think you're already in it now. I think this is the slowest month that it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And I just think every single month then has got something that I would like about it. I do think that's going to be a very strong coin through 2022. And I think 2023 is going to be a much stronger year than what it is now. It is a coin that you should seriously hang on to, because you've got here a 6-year cycle now, and it's changing and going through the momentum. Your special years and that will be within it is every 6 years. So it seems to like, for some reason, the 6 year. And if we're going into numerology, then next year is the 6 year anyway. So it's going to ride the coin. It's going to take the coin on. So I think the coin's going to do really well during next year, full stop. I think it likes the energy very much. It likes the romantic edge of saying that you were given as a wedding present. And so it's got a great association and that with it. So even though that's more romantic, next year, I'm afraid, is romantic. It is sloppy. It is loving. You have to love your coin that you've got, and you love your coin
we do. So my daughter's getting married next year, so maybe we'll carry on that family tradition.
Absolutely. Best year to get married. We'll even get her the same coin. It probably costs a lot more, but give her the same,
that's all right.
same coin.
She's worth it. All right, SL, you're up. I will pull up your
XRP.
Your XRP.
Yes.
We can.
So my group want to know what month next year's XRP will have the best month.
It's very difficult to be April, because like I said, all the strong coins and XRP will do really well then. I think XRP is going to have quite an abnormal month in a good way during January time. I think January time, because there's so many shifts and changes and so many new leaders across the world coming back and taking their thrones back and all coming back, I think January is going to make the cryptocurrency a fascinating month. And that's why those that are there that governments will back during that time will start doing well. And then governments will be just looking at cryptocurrency more favorably during January time than what they are at this moment in time. So everything is going to shift in that with the rules, the regulations, and what is successful during that time. So actually, I think even as soon as January, things could start picking up and perking up really well. And so look forward to a good month in January. I'm just through, and there's not really disastrous months and that, but best month of all is April. And like I said, I can see that with all coins and that, most of them that are going to be survivors and that are going to do well during April. So stick with that. I think that'll be good for you.
That's awesome. So right now, XRP is like 94 cents. Do you see that XRP will go to $10 or $25 next year?
I think it will go $10 quite quickly. I think again, possibly it could even be in January time where it goes up to $10. We've got nice shifts and that with the coin and that during that time. So I think January time is a little bit of a movement for it. And I like the feel that it comes with it. And until then, February could be quieter for it and it not really jump, and people be expecting that same little jump that it gets in January. And I don't think it's going to get it until then April. And then I think April it will do it. And then May, it could get a little bit quiet again until the last week in May. And then all of a sudden it's like it wakes up again. And then the last few days in May, I think there's a turning point. I think it doesn't like the blood moons that are coming in during the month of May. So I think it just goes off boil a little bit during that time. And maybe there's a lot more feminine energies working in around the company. So I hope there is for the company's sake. But if not, they got a lot of crazy men that are working there during that time. But there's a lot of feminine energies and that come in during that time. So it will be affected by the moons and the cycles and that we're going through, and then back on track and that back in June. So it's back to normal, back to the way that it started the year. Very sort of jumpy every couple of days. There's a nice little quiet jump and that, which is good. I don't see it being as absolutely massive and huge during next year, but it could end up being round about the $14 or whatever the new currency is called during that time. So round about June time, I see it round about 14. I keep getting the number 14 in front of me. So I think it could be even as much as that.
Yeah. So when in January it climbs to $10, will it stay at $10 or drop and then it climb back up?
I think it will stay roughly round about the $10 until it goes into February. And then we've got here the 2nd and 3rd of February, which seems to be a little bit of a bumpy ride. But those 2 days, it could drop down a little bit. It could even drop down as much as 6 or 7, not down from 10 down to 6 or 7, but it's 6 or 7 cents or something. They could small drops, small little bite-sized drops over those 2-day periods, and then it can start picking back up again. And then you could even find as soon as the 12th that it's back up to the $10 again. So it didn't stay down there for long, just a few days, maybe 5 or 6 days, something like that. Maybe that's where the 6 came in. It's just telling me it's in day form. That it could then change from then and start sort of building up from then. So I hope that makes a bit of sense and it's not made everything so crazy. Remember what I said to everybody, make sure that you trust your gut intuition. If something there resonates with you, then you go with it. And if it doesn't, and you think that's a load of rubbish, or I don't think that, then you have to feel it your own self. Then sit there and concentrate on it and just say to yourself, this is what I'm going to invest in, and keep saying the name to yourself. And if you then get a tickly cheek, or you find you keep wanting to scratch, and that spirit acknowledging what you're saying to you, yes, that's right. So listen to the signs. Your body will always give you the signs when something is correct for you. Because remember what we said at the beginning, it's got to be work with your energy, and it doesn't work with everybody's energy at all. And that's always going to be hard to get the right energy for the right person. But because I do it on vibrations and sounds and tones, it's easier for me that way. So I hope that helps.
So, no, this helps. But SL is giving me a little permission to go right into my sweet spot of in the private chat. So on my channel, we talk a lot about what's going on with the banking system, and there's talking about I've gone to my private bank and seen what's called an ITM, where there are coins dispensed, and then I had my banker give me a tour, and they showed me, oh yeah, and walk around here, and there's machines where they dispense rolls of coins, and you can dump large amounts of coins. I have also watched the new or the updated White House clip of the decorations, and it's not the same ornament that I bought when Donald Trump was in office, and it's a gold star with the JFK Jr. JFK $50 in the middle of it, and it says White House official 2020 ornament on it that begins the video. And so I believe that we're going back to that standard. I have my theories on it. I also just recently watched Trump's visit to the Dallas church and went through the whole thing, and there were tons of comms on it. The pastor talking about how he and Trump are going to go walk through Texas and slug through the cities through 2 foot of silver coins. And then recently in my home state, they just closed these big places. So they were doing Real ID, and they had these mega locations where they were they just served 45,000 people in the last week, they said, or something, which doesn't make any sense. But that's a calm. President Trump is the 45th president. And they're closing these mega locations that are to be closed on the 7th of January, when you were saying the 7th.
Right.
Why? Because we're going to need new IDs, and these locations are set up in Tulsa and Oklahoma City. What are those new identifications for? So this new system rolling out, all of this. I mean, I could talk to you for hours. So SL is giving me free reign in the chat. She's like, go ahead, let's talk about what does this banking shutdown look like? Also, my buddy Polik that I do my Woo Wednesday show with has been in landscaping for over 30 years. And I'm like, hey, did you just see that they said that the Russian Christmas tree was just delivered to Putin? And I sent him the video, and he goes, Lisa, that's not a landscaping truck. That truck carries heavy that carries heavy loads, not a tree. And that could have been carrying gold or silver. And then Cat Turd just tweeted after that, we just got our big delivery. And people are saying, then a video came out from Conspiracy Bot that talked about the towers coming down and there was supposedly all the gold underneath the towers. And that's why Giuliani was sweating at that very last press briefing or whatever. Like, they used him all up to the end, and then they told him, we know what you did and all this. And so I believe this is what's going on, and that we're going to be moved to, only 4 presidents were assassinated, and all 4 of them were trying to put us back onto that gold or that silver standard.
That's it, yes. But they can't stop it now. We're already past the tipping point. And these are only the last couple of countries and that really need to get the silver and that, because everybody's ready. It's already up and running. And I absolutely believe it's our Christmas present and that's coming from Trump. It all has to start with you guys over there. You had to be the start of it. You are the birth, because your energy in next year is going to be the biggest energy. The United States, and that is going to become a United States. It's going to be the most powerful place.
Will it not only be the United States, but also is there a merging of Mexico and Canada when Trump talks about USMCA? Because on DJT Day, which is his initials 4/10/20, oil went negative. And on that day, he said, he did a negotiation with different countries. And he said, don't worry, Mexico will pay us back later in another way. Well, what's Mexico's biggest reserve? Silver. So we have all this oil.
Yes. And it's all good. Yeah.
It's all there. It's all there.
It is all going to be traded back, everything.
And we're all going to be better for it.
I can actually know, because I've tuned in. Exactly. Everybody is going to be. And I know a lot of people say, oh, it's so fast, it's too much. We're not going to get all this giving and all this stuff and that. But we are. Actually, even from the very 1st of January, we're going to get here where it's free fuel and all our bills and that are going to be changed. And that can only come in when Trump has been properly announced back, that the public and everybody in every country. I can see it just after the Christmas period. I think between Christmas and New Year, I think it's definitely all back in before that. I don't think he can wait hardly another day. I think for him to wait until Christmas Day is going to be an absolute nightmare for him. His energy is charged up. He is ready. It's a time of truth and communication. He's kept stumped for such a long time, being in the background now. And now it's his time now to come out and speak. And he will be delivering it during that period in time. So for me, I can't wait, because I know then that everybody will then end up having it. And I know through my tuning in and what my guides say to me, they say that gold and silver will have freedom with it. So the revaluation of gold and silver is going to be in January, and it's all going to be around that 6. So I think that Trump is going to come back, and he's going to make it the 6, because he's going to teach everybody a lesson. He's going to say, right, the 6 should have been my day. Now it's going to be my day, but you're going to remember it for the right reasons. And to be quite honest, that's why I was very surprised that Biden is still going on even now. Because they said to me a couple of weeks ago, they said, this is the end of Biden. And I go, what do you mean, he's going to be dead or he's going to be gone? And they said that's the end of him, and it was just saying that, he's been then basically.
They're just going to show that that's not really even him, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think
how will people transition through this? Like what cash, or because so many people use their bank account, they don't even, most typical people don't have cash, don't have crypto, don't have coins. They have, their CBDCs. How will people, will credit cards still work? How will that Visa network still stay? Well, Visa's uses Lightning.
Not for a couple of days, your credit cards and that won't work, because they have to still wake up the people and say, look, because they'll be saying, oh, well, it's just a little power cut, or it's just this. So they have to shock. I'm afraid it has to have drama with it, because if they don't, they'll fall back into it, and then they won't believe it. And they'll say, oh, well, I didn't like Trump because of this, that, and the other. And so they need to have that wake up call to say that that's it. So you will definitely need some form of cash. So you will have to have some ready money. The trouble is the banks are not too happy about giving you anything at all. And you've got to have the third degree to be able to take out some of your own cash now, or cash machines are not being filled up the same. But people will panic, and they will get into it of trying to get some cash just to say they've got something, but their cards will only work for a limited period. It's only because we then have to withdraw the cards. So those cards then will be eaten up in the machines, and that's so you'll get the new quantum cards. Yeah. And so that is your ID, that is your tracking system, that is everything.
And maybe that's when we go to those mega centers and get our
quantum
card or real identification.
Yeah, they say there are hundreds of those across the world. So any country and anything. So after those couple of days, and that's to me why I think there's so much drama going on. And because Trump does seem to do everything with astrology. And I think the last couple of days of this month, I think that's where the changeover will come. And that's why they then will be saying to you, right, in every single town, there's a place here where you can then still go and use it. You can go there and your card will be taken in, and then a new card will be put out, and it will be done your facial, your hand ID and that, and it will be just done through so that so they know who it is.
On these ITMs, they have a scanner and you're talking to someone. Yes. It has a screen where you're talking to someone, and then it has a coin dispenser.
Yes.
So you could be getting silver coins from it.
That's it. That's what you will be getting. You'll be getting silver coins and that from it. You can get gold as well. And it will let you buy in some of the places, and that it will let you buy gold as well. You'll be able to get silver and gold from these machines. And this is what I keep saying about the new technology. We would have been used to going down and then seeing somebody in the bank and just getting things like that. And now you won't have to. There'll be no questions about your money, what you're doing with it, where you're doing it, how you want to store it. That'll be all completely and utterly down to you. It will give you the freedom to do it. And that's why I think that this next year is the most spiritual, uplifting year we can have, because it's taken us off to our own identity. So it's an amazing year for us. And I think to have this newfound freedom, and I think that's what's going to be hard for us, because we have to make our own choices. And this machine will be asking us questions, and we'll be going, oh, I don't want to tell them everything like that. Why do I want to do this? But actually, it's our safety net. It's our I can't even say it now, protection for the rest of our life to put us in this place. So
when Trump comes back, he's revealing what's happening. So it's not that he's running for president. He's showing the corruption. Yeah. So there's not a presidency to run for.
No, he won't need to.
He doesn't need to. And the people may never have a presidency again.
Never, they won't, because we're all going over now to common law.
True freedom.
So we're taking a new law, new freedom, and all our rules and regulations will come back with us as freedom.
It will be we the people. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he will
come
back.
Things like DAOs formed, things like that, where communities will decide together. We'll go back to states. And then the states will decide the land of the law, and the people will make the rules and the laws of the states.
The people will, because you will you will vote on it yourself. Everything will be done on technology. And even for Odins like me, we'll have to get used to it. It'll be done, but we'll just be able to speak it in, and we'll just be able to do it with our own voice, because it will know our voice and recognize us all the time of who we are. So we'll be able to vote for it and say, no, I don't agree with this. But nobody that's in government now will be still in government. There'll be literally a handful of people across the world, but very few. But all the big leaders will be gone. They've done their day.
Will the census be corrected?
Completely, absolutely, completely. Yes, everything will go back, and everything will start all over again. The right people with the right jobs, and the people will choose the right people to carry on and to do that. And we will know them personally, and they get 3 strikes. So if they do something we don't like in our area, we'll be able to say, that's a strike against them. We'll be able to just speak it in, and that's a strike. And if they get 3 strikes, then they're out. They lose their
can never be in leadership again.
No. So then have to keep an eye on and make sure that all the time, by getting things right, if the people are not happy, it's so this corruption can never change again, and no group of people can decide to take over and hypnotize us, because that's what we've been totally hypnotized. We follow suit, and look at all the sheep now, look at all the people, what they're all doing. They're all following everybody. So
it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's an exciting time to be alive right now. I appreciate your time. I know we kept you over, but it's really, really great information, and we appreciate you so much.
Yeah, let's do this another time, Susan.
Yes, I look forward to it. Thank you very much. I hope I haven't all driven you crazy by blabbering on too much anyway.
No,
But I will say to your viewers, if you do want appointments and that with me, please don't ring me up and expect it done straight away. I've got no more appointments now till round about the 8th or 9th of January is the first appointments that I've got available. So it is going to be a little way off. And please fill in the details on the sheets that I put there, because if you don't fill it in, I don't know what your time zone is. So when you say to me, give you an appointment time, I'm trying to work it out so it's either your morning, afternoon, or evening. And if you don't fill it in at all, then I'm ringing you up in the middle of the night because I don't realize what country you're in. So I do people from all around the world. So if you can help me out and either put it into UK time, because that's where I'm from, or not, if not, then just put down and say, your morning is 8 o'clock in the morning, my time, or 8 o'clock at night, my time. If you could do that, I'd be very grateful. Not being a technology whiz. I would like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a very prosperous and lucky New Year. I'm sure you're all going to get one in one shape or form. So, and thank you both for inviting me on. It has been a pleasure. I hope it's helped somebody.
Wonderful to meet you. SL will have her links in the description of our videos. Is that correct?
Yes. I just put
that's
Susan's email website.
I've got it. Okay. We'll see you guys next time. Merry Christmas to everybody and a happy, happy New Year.
And you too.